For our latest walks New York, fellow urban rambler Renata Ryman and I were armed with a fridge magnet. We were heading to Soho in Manhattan to see some of the area's dozens of historic cast iron buildings. We took the Q train from Brooklyn to Canal Street. There are several ways to get there. As soon as we got above ground, there it was, our first cast iron building sighting. So why the magnet? Allow Renata to illustrate. If the magnet sticks, you've found a cast iron building. We loosely followed a wonderful guide and map from a website with a similar name, Walks of New York. Our first stop was on Green Street, but before we got there we went into this iron building, which is a vibrant indoor market and art space. One of the features of these structures is glass bricks, which allow light into the basements. You must remember many of these buildings date back to the 1860s and 70s, before electricity. Soho wasn't always one of Manhattan's swankiest suburbs. It used to be called Hell's 100 Acres, apparently because it was full of deserted and dilapidated factories. It's wedged between Houston Street to the north, yes, Houston, not Houston, and Canal Street to the south. The name is taken from the first two letters of South and of Houston. Some of the highlights of this very easy walk are the Queen and the King of Green Street, both dating back to 1872. 80 Worcester Street, a building that allegedly kicked off the transformation of the neighborhood. In 1967, it became an artists' co-op, and John Lennon, Yoko Ono, musician John Cage, and many others worked here at some point. Unfortunately, the building was partly concealed by scaffolding. On Houston and Broadway, the old Cable building is magnificent. And just across from it on Broadway is New York City's second oldest cast iron facade, circa 1858. Further south, still on Broadway, is the gorgeous Little Singer building. And then on the corner of Broome Street, the stunning Howard building. From 1857, it's the oldest complete cast iron facade in the city. The ground floor was empty so we could look inside. Cast iron is super strong, and back then it was cheap. So it not only allowed for wider and taller buildings, but the materials could be pre-made off-site. You'll notice foundry stamps on many of them. In fact, the Howard building seems to have the original threshold metal plate, very well worn, just outside the entrance, displaying the manufacturer's name, D.D. Badger & Co. Cast iron aside, there's a lot more to explore in Soho. It's been through more transformations than almost any other neighborhood in the city. So I'm sure we'll be back. Happy rambling.